understand eip4844 and also eip7516 is more relevant to layer 2 projects. I'm just trying to understand here, will it make any difference in the transaction cost for a normal user, not on layer 2, but directly on the Ethereum mainnet?
Good question. The bigger impact will definitely be on layer 2 users. The more formal way of saying this is that we are introducing a second fee dimension on Ethereum. So far, the Ethereum fee market has been one-dimensional. Now it will be two-dimensional. The impact that has is that you can imagine if there's, say, for example, a big NFT mint, right? Some project launches and they have an NFT mint and everyone is rushing in to mint the NFT. Then usually the base fee shoots up very high on mainnet because everyone wants to go get in, right? And it's very high for transactions. Then at the same time, if I'm a user and I'm transacting on some layer 2, Optimism, Arbitrum, zkSync, whatever, your favorite layer 2, I am also hit by that because the layer 2 comes to Ethereum, has to basically do the settlement transaction and now has to compete with all these NFT people for the transaction space. And so basically the amount of activity on layer 1 impacts layer 2 users. Now, with the second fee dimension, now basically you can imagine these worlds are basically separate. It's not fully separate because part of the settlement transaction is still normal computation, but that's really small. With a much bigger cost for layer 2 settlement is data. And now this data just gets its own price. So even if, like, say, with NFT drop, the normal base fee shoots up by tenfold, right? Goes up by 10x, but the data base fee would stay unchanged, right? So you could still settle the layer 2 transactions at basically the same price. And so basically, of course, you asked the other way around, right? You asked how are mainnet users impacted. The first answer I want to give is, this is the reason why for layer 2s, for users on layer 2s now, it becomes just cheaper, but then also less variable in the cost. So you're no longer impacted by the variance on layer 1. Now, is there also an impact the other way around? In some way, yes, because now also there's less space on mainnet that is taken up by these settlement transactions because they get their separate data space. It is going to be less of an impact though, just because right now, if you look at how much usage on Ethereum is layer 2 settlement transactions versus normal transactions, the vast majority of gas is still spent by normal transactions. So those, of course, will still be there and compete for the same space. Basically, the demand will go a little bit down because the layer 2 people will now get their own space. So you could expect that basically all else being equal, Ethereum transaction would become slightly cheaper for normal users as well, for non-layer 2 users, but presumably this will not be a big effect and might just be dwarfed by whatever else. Like if we have just some more hype coming to blockchains, this might just increase overall demand, or if just the other way around, if people are just not feeling so happy about blockchains. So these are the kind of overall fluctuations that might just make a much bigger impact than this. But you are, in a way, like with your question, you are right that while this is primarily going to make layer 2 transactions cheaper, it will also make layer 1 transactions slightly cheaper.